For the people wondering why, as Sufis, we take a lot of precautions with members of the opposite gender, it's not because we are being unnatural. In fact, it's an admission of our naturalness. The Sufi is the most natural person who doesn't want to pretend to be someone that they're not or pretend to be fake. And since human beings are sexual by nature, and the Sufi is the most sexual being because he doesn't repress or hide or pretend to be someone else, we at the same time want to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and so we place a barrier between us and the haram. And this is a part of our respect for the opposite gender and our respecting the laws of God. And so we don't pretend that, oh, I'm not affected and I can speak to anybody and I'm not going to start liking someone else, and because we're not fake, right? Because we admit our weakness. And I'll tell you a very amazing story. Sheikh Muhammad Nabhan was a great wali of Aleppo, and he never left a successor, a khalifa. He had one very senior student who was a very spiritual and good man. However, he said he never made him one of his khulafa for a very simple reason. And you guys will be surprised to know this. This man was a teacher, and he used to teach men and women, and his female students used to sit in front of him fully veiled. He was already married, but he fell in love with one of his female students, even though he never saw her face, probably because of her voice or the way she would interact with him or something. He fell in love. He couldn't control his heart. He fell in love, and he proposed to her, and she agreed to marry him and be his second wife. And the Sheikh said, I realized that he wasn't a fully cooked Sufi. He wasn't complete. He wasn't always in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because he could fall in love in class with one of his students. So I realized that even though he was a very pure soul, and he went about it the correct way in Islam, and he proposed to her and so on, that when he was teaching, he wasn't with Allah, he was with creation. That's how he could fall in love. And so he didn't consider him a fully cooked Sufi yet. So think about this, guys.